this is Shaky Chef, and today I thought we'd do something a little fun and make some caramel. And you're going to need, for this recipe, you're going to need a pot that is a deep enough pot. You're going to be putting 5 1/4 cups of material into it, so make sure it's deep enough because you're going to be taking it up to 250 degrees, and that's pretty hot, so you want to be careful. I use an induction cooktop for this. You can use your regular stove. You're also going to need a whisk to whisk the sugars and everything together. You're going to need a candy thermometer, a real good candy thermometer. You're going to need a brush and some water to brush down the size of the pot periodically to keep it from crystallizing and getting your caramels grainy. Then you're going to need a 9 by 13 inch cooking tray. I line it with parchment paper, and that way when the caramels get hard, you can pull the whole thing out. There you got protection on it, and you can cut it up and package it. And this is what the caramels will look like when you're finished with the caramels. This is what it looks like after this is set overnight, so it gets nice and firm, and it's all ready to cut up. Now for the ingredients on this, it's pretty simple. You're going to need 2 cups of granulated sugar. You're going to need 3/4 cup of light brown sugar. You're going to need a 1/2 cup of corn syrup. You're going to need 2 teaspoons of vanilla. You don't have to use vanilla if you don't want to. If you like the natural flavor, the richer the fat on the cream that you use, it's going to give it a better flavor. And what I'm using it's just a whipping cream. You can use whipping cream, heavy whipped cream, half and half, or a mixture of all. You want to get the creams to have real high fat content because that gives it the richness and stuff. And so let's go ahead and get started mixing this stuff up, and then we'll get you over to the cooktop. And you're going to dump everything into the pot. You don't have to really worry about any particular way of doing it. It all is going to come out in the end, because this is the caramels. Once you have it mixed and you bring it up to temperature, you don't want to stir it at all. It's going to boil until it's at 250 degrees, and then you're going to pull it off. Now the vanilla you're going to leave till the very last part. When you pull the caramel off, you're going to put the vanilla in, and you're going to want to put 2 tablespoons of butter into it. That gives it a real glossy look on it. It keeps it nice and shiny. So once you have the sugar and cream and everything incorporated into this, then we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to see if I can get this set up over at the cooktop, and we'll go from there. Okay, so I'll be right back in a couple minutes. Okay, everybody, we're back. We got everything set up on the induction cooktop. We got all the sugar whisked in, so it's the mixture is mixed real good. It'll kind of look like a brown caramel already, but it'll get darker as it goes. So what you want to do at this point is, once you have it all mixed up and you're just about ready to for it to boil, then you're going to go ahead and you're going to stop. You don't have to stir it anymore. You don't have to stir it. So we'll go ahead and get rid of this. And you see we have a container of water for our brush, so we brush the sides down. Now on caramel, it's really kind of neat about it that I love. What we're going to make today is we're going to make sea salt caramel. That's where we're not putting any salt in the mix. You usually put in a pinch, like a quarter teaspoon of salt. But on this one we're not, because we're going to be putting sea salt sprinkled on top of it before it cools down, so then you have that nice salty caramel. We have butter, a pat of butter that we're going to put in, 2 tablespoons of butter, and our vanilla at the very end. And you can flavor the caramel with a lot of different things. I do habanero mango caramel, which I will do a video on that, so everybody knows how to do that. It's just takes me a little time to be able to set this up to where I can do this. You want to make sure that you don't boil over, because this will make a real big mess. Plus it's very, very hot, so you want to be careful so you don't burn yourself. I always loved caramels, and I just got tired of buying them and going, man, they're not really that great. So I started making my own, and it's a lot better to make your own, because you know what you're getting, you know what's in it. There's no preservatives or nothing. It's all what you want in it. So now we're starting to boil, and it's going to come all the way up to the top of the pot. And you have to watch. On this cooktop, I can control the temperature real good. If it boils over on this, it's a glass top, so it doesn't hurt anything. But if what I'll do here is, if it starts coming up too fast, I'll just take it back down to 240, because I'm at 285 right now, just to get it to boil. And it's going to take about almost 20 minutes, depending on the cooktop and stuff. It's going to take a little while. On this cooktop, a lot of times it'll take about 15-20 minutes. Sometimes, depending on the cream that you use, it could take up to 30 minutes. So as you go, what I was saying about the brush, we're coming up pretty quick. So what you want to do is you want to brush it down, because what happens is the sugar will get on the cold part of the pot and it'll crystallize, and then when you pour your candy out into the pan, it'll actually get grainy when it cools down, and you don't want that. So this is what I was saying about, you brush it down. You don't have to do it a whole bunch, maybe 2 or 3 times during the whole cooking process, and just you have to keep an eye on it because the temperature takes a little bit to get to where you want it, and once it gets close, then it goes fast. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to pause the video and we'll come back when we're just about finished and ready to pour and everything like that. Okay, so stick with me, okay? I'll be right back. Hi everybody, we're back. The caramel is just about ready to take off the burner and put in the butter and the vanilla extract. We just got a couple more degrees to go. If you get a chance, do try this. You can flavor it with apple, you can flavor it with mango. Like I said, I do habanero mango. I will do a video on that because it's a little more, I use fresh habaneros on that. But we're gonna go ahead and pull the thermometer out. We're gonna leave the heat on for a second, and we're gonna go ahead and pour in the vanilla, and we're gonna dump in the butter, and it's gonna bubble up, and that's why I say you need a spoon to stir it in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna shut the heat off and stir it in, stir everything in. And it shouldn't burn. The way this recipe goes, you don't have to stir it at all until the very end. It shouldn't burn. It'll just get a nice caramely color to it. Man, it smells really, really good. And then once you have it all set and stir it in really good, make sure the butter is melted in and stirred in real good, because if it isn't, you'll get a greasy top on it. Okay, and then I like to kind of scrape off the spoon. I have a silicone spatula that I'll take the caramel, and I have my pan right here, and I'm just going to pour the caramel into that pan and scrape the pan all down. I try not to waste any of this because I love caramel so much. It's a real kick to. And when you're all finished, I like leaving a little extra on the spatula or on the silicone spatula so I can taste it and make sure that I got a good flavor on it. And I'll let that cool. But inside the pot, you can see it didn't burn at all. So if it's done right, it doesn't burn. On gas stove, it takes a lot longer to get the temperature up to what you want. Let me put this in here. And what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to let this set for a little bit before we can put the salt on top of it, sprinkle the salt on top, and we'll be right back and we'll do that in a little bit, okay? Alright everybody, we're back. I only let it set for like 4 or 5 minutes, not quite 5 minutes, but real close. Now I have sea salt, and this is a coarse sea salt. And what I do is I just pinch it out and sprinkle it, grind it through my fingers, because you'll hit some big spots, big chunks of it. So you don't want to try and get big giant rocks on here, but you want to get a nice sprinkling of sea salt on it. And some people like more salt than others. I make it to where a lot of people like the way that I make it, because it's got enough salt, not too much salt, but it's got enough on for everybody's liking. And I hope you guys all try this recipe. There's not a lot of ingredients, and it's not too hard. It takes a little bit of time, especially when you cut it up. And I'll try and it'll have to be a separate video for how to cut the caramel up and wrap it, because I have to let this stuff set for a while. Okay, so thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you do try the recipe, because if you love caramel, it's better to make it yourself.